Hello YouTubers, Joe Kersey here on Thursday, September 24th. That's about quarter to 10 in the morning now. And they're doing a little stuff on the other side of the creek here on my side of the road, and they've been going at it hammer and tongs on the other side of the road across the creek over by the sewer lift station, or as I fondly refer to it as the secret police headquarters, because that's what it looks like when it's lit up at night. There's a little brute main force in action. Actually, compared to some of the stuff that's been going on around here earlier, this is pretty tame stuff. what I found, an old field tile, and this one tends to run northwest southeast, and you know, I've seen a lot of this area down here dug up repeatedly over the years, and this is the first time I've ever seen this tile, this field tile. So at some point somebody's put in a field tile to drain this field. This field up here used to be rented out to a local farmer who grew corn on it. And as wet a piece of ground as that was, I would never have ever guessed it had a field tile on it. Meanwhile, we've had some other visitors today. We've had Delco Water Surveyors out here. Well, actually, we've had the head of Delco Water himself out here, who, you know, he's relatively new in the job. He's been on it maybe a little over a year. And turned out to be a very nice, reasonable guy, and he actually acted like he was smart and not a liar. His predecessor, you could tell he was lying to you all the time. But no, this guy was very reasonable. The stakes they were driving, it says water line, end of casing. What that means is they're going to bore underneath the road to some sticks that they drove over on Liz's side. And they're going to run a smaller main. I don't know. It'll either be a 6-inch or 8-inch main off of the 10-inch one that's already here. And you can see over here they drove a stick saying that here will be the tie-in to the existing water line. Well, it's about 11:15 now in the afternoon. No, in the morning. Some other things that Mr. Wolf told me from Delco Water. Excuse me. He said it's noisy out here. No, he said that they don't intend to replace any of the water line that's currently, you know, in my, I'll just call it my front yard down by the road. He said by the creek, what they'll do is they're going to rebore under the creek and then reconnect in over on the other side of the creek. And then he talked about them running the water line up alongside the New Pal Road. And he said, we're going to be inside the drainage work, you know, between the drainage work and the road edge. He says, we're not going to cut down any trees. We aren't going to come down, we're not even going to come near trees. So that was all very musical to my ears. And this guy, you know, this guy didn't seem like a liar. This guy seemed like a straight up. As I said, his predecessor, you could tell he was a liar. And he was. He lied to me twice. He lied to my neighbor at least once, and he lied to a friend of mine at least once. Anyway, this is the Mr. Wolf era, and it might get better maybe. His surveyor was named Andrew. Now Andrew, I'll tell you, you know, first of all, Andrew was kind of unusual in that, you know, here's a guy in his mid-20s that actually makes eye contact with you. Shakes your hand, makes eye contact. Kind of lingering eye contact, which is kind of nice for me. I think he recognized me too. I think he used to work over at Giant Eagle. I think this guy's sold me, you know, wine for about 2 years at Giant Eagle. And now he's a surveyor. Well, he's a surveyor for Delco Water. Looks like they're doing their own survey. a lot of these utility companies will contract out their survey. So that's by and large good news. The other sort of development is they're actually working on the path that will be along the creek under the bridge. These guys aren't wasting any time. Mr. Wolf said that the water work will start sometime the first week in October. So about 2 weeks from now. I said, since you're such a nice guy, I'm going to tell you about the water line leak up there, you know, in the corner. And he said, he went up and he looked at it, he said, yeah, that's a big leak. He says, doesn't matter anymore because he says, we're going to abandon that thing in about 2 weeks. So I thought, you know, he's dealing with me straight, I'll deal with him straight. Well, that's it for now. The day is young still. The scene of the noise. It's too windy, but treat this shot as like one of those restaurant placemats, you know, where you take kids and say find the mistakes or find all the changes. Hard to see, but they've got three gas markers down there, one inside that orange fence, 2 outside. They put in at least 3 new electric poles. They've got gravel and fill dirt. They've got road dividers. They've completed the trashing and mulching and carrying off across the road. They've completed taking down all this stuff here next to the bridge on my side. So that's been the activity for today. Here's another whack at it here. About to go flying all over the kingdom here. Well, that's it pretty much for the construction today. I think, you know, they may be moving some equipment around and get it in position for tomorrow. They still got some stuff to do on my spot. They've got stuff to grind still on our side of the creek, across the creek. The electric guys want to get something in position to pull wire, but they're not going to place poles until well, all this easement stuff is taken care of. They'll put extended cross pieces on the current poles and then pull wires from across the other side. Meanwhile, our good friends Ruth and Gary called and we chatted for about an hour. Well, not an hour, about half an hour. Which is long for them because they tend to, you know, they'll call and then they'll be gone. Gary had an anesthetic question about a friend of his relating to a colonoscopy this individual had. Ruth used to teach with my ex-wife, and we had several, and still have several, very good mutual friends in common. And you know, she and Gary live right across the street from each other. Gary's wife is a pharmacist of some variety. I think an academic pharmacist, if I'm not mistaken. So that was always good conversation with these two. And so that's been about it. You know, going in and out, keeping my eye on things. Here with bye-bye YouTubers.